The year was 2035. Elara Vance lived a normal life. She attended City College and worked at a cafe. Her small apartment was a sanctuary shared with Cosmo, her cat. Evenings involved calls to her mother. One company caught her eye, Ancestry.com. Their commercials promised to unlock her DNA secrets. Testimonials spoke of profound connections. It seemed so simple, so benign. A small kit, a saliva sample, and a journey into her genetic history. She added the DNA kit to her virtual cart. A few clicks later, the order was confirmed. She felt a thrill of anticipation, the excitement of an impending discovery. Ancestry.com was more than just a genealogy company. It was a facade, a sophisticated front operation. Its true purpose was far removed from helping people find their second cousins or trace their lineage to Viking warriors. Behind the friendly interface and the heartwarming marketing campaigns lay the cold, calculating machinery of the Central Intelligence Agency. For years, the CIA had been quietly, methodically accumulating a vast global DNA database. Every kit sold, every sample processed added another strand to their intricate web of genetic information, a resource of unimaginable power. When Elara's sample arrived at the processing facility, it wasn't just another data point for a family tree. It was an asset. Her DNA was carefully extracted, sequenced, and uploaded into a secure, heavily encrypted CIA system. Powerful artificial intelligence algorithms immediately went to work. They didn't just look for markers of ethnicity, they cross-referenced her genetic profile with every piece of digital information available, her social media footprint, her academic records, her employment history, any documented achievements or public interactions. A comprehensive psychological and physiological profile began to form. The AI sought patterns, vulnerabilities, and most importantly, potential. The CIA's Mind Kontrol program was a marvel of dark innovation. It didn't rely on crude drugs or overt brainwashing techniques of the past. Instead, it harnessed the very essence of an individual's biological makeup, their DNA. Each person's genetic code, unique as a fingerprint, possessed a distinct resonant frequency. The agency had discovered how to identify these individual signatures and, more critically, how to exploit them. It was a silent, invisible method of influence capable of reaching anyone, anywhere, without their knowledge or consent. The transmission network was ubiquitous, seamlessly integrated into the fabric of modern life. Low and high-frequency signals, precisely calibrated, pulsed through existing infrastructure. Cell phone towers broadcasted them alongside calls and data. Radio waves carried them hidden within commercial broadcasts. Satellite systems beamed them down from orbit, blanketing entire regions. Even smart televisions and other internet-connected household devices could serve as localized conduits, relaying targeted frequencies directly into homes. The world was unknowingly saturated with these subtle, controlling energies. Elara's transformation into an operative was seamless and unconscious. She became known to her unseen handlers only by a code name, the Sleeping Assassin. The designation was chillingly accurate. The primary activation frequencies were designed to target her during her deepest sleep cycles. As she lay in bed, Cosmo purring softly beside her, specific signals would permeate her apartment, tuned precisely to her DNA. These frequencies didn't just influence thought, they unlocked and amplified her latent physical capabilities, pushing her natural strength and agility to superhuman levels. The mission parameters were uploaded directly into her subconscious mind. Addresses, target profiles, optimal routes, contingency plans, all delivered as complex data streams masked within the controlling frequencies. She would rise from her bed, moving with a fluid grace and deadly purpose that her conscious self would never recognize. Her eyes, though open, registered the world in a different way, processed through the lens of the mission protocol. She was an automaton, perfectly programmed, utterly efficient. There was no hesitation, no fear, no remorse, only execution. The enhancements provided to Ilara were not merely psychological, they were deeply biological, woven into the very fabric of her being. Unbeknownst to her, her body had been subtly augmented. Part of the frequency-based conditioning involved triggering latent genetic markers, coaxing her cells to adopt new properties. Her skin, for instance, was imbued with a rapid regeneration capability. Minor cuts, scrapes, or bruises sustained during her nocturnal missions would heal at an astonishing rate, often vanishing within hours, leaving no scar, no evidence of injury. She might notice a small scratch on her hand one morning, only to find it completely gone by the afternoon. She'd dismiss it, perhaps thinking she hadn't seen it clearly, or attribute it to a new vitamin supplement she was taking, or the general resilience of youth. The agency relied on this plausible deniability, the human tendency to rationalize the unusual. The year 2035 was not an optimistic time. The global landscape was fractured, teetering on the edge of multiple crises. Trust in institutions was at an all-time low. Conspiracy theories, once relegated to the fringes, now echoed in the halls of power. The air hummed with a quiet tension, a sense of pervasive unease. Climate change ravaged coastlines and farmlands, while economic disparities fueled social unrest. It was against this backdrop of a slowly unraveling world that the silent technological arms races escalated, hidden from public view. The United States Congress, in closed-door sessions, had controversially approved the funding and deployment of genetically enhanced soldiers. It was a desperate move, a reaction to the rapidly advancing bioengineered military complex emerging in China. Intelligence reports painted a grim picture of China's capabilities. The CIA's DNA-based mind control initiative was a versatile and terrifyingly effective tool, its applications extending far beyond the creation of sleeper assassins like Ilara. The agency's architects of action wielded this power with chilling precision, tailoring its use to a wide spectrum of covert objectives. The ability to influence thoughts and compel actions in targeted individuals without leaving a discernible trace opened up a new frontier in espionage and geopolitical manipulation. The DNA database was their most prized possession, a directory of potential puppets spanning the globe. One of the program's darker applications was the orchestration of targeted assassinations that appeared as anything but. Individuals deemed problematic could be subtly influenced over time, their mental states gradually eroded, their behaviors altered. Eventually, a final irresistible compulsion could be transmitted, leading them to actions that resulted in their own demise, often in ways that investigators would rule as suicide or tragic accident. Key political figures, inconvenient journalists or scientists, on the verge of unwelcome discoveries, could be neutralized with perfect deniability. Beyond direct elimination, the technology was also adept at activating broader sleeper cell scenarios. Networks of individuals, previously catalogued and tagged within the DNA database, could be simultaneously triggered by a widespread broadcast of specific frequency sets. Subtle anomalies began to prick at the edges of Ilara's awareness. Small things, easily dismissed, accumulated like fine dust in her mind. Persistent fatigue clung to her some mornings, a weariness coffee couldn't dispel. Odd bruises appeared on her arms or legs, faint discoloration she couldn't recall acquiring. Her normal life felt subtly out of sync. Her dreams became a source of disquiet, fragmented, chaotic, filled with intense action and unfamiliar faces. Upon waking, these images evaporated, leaving a lingering sense of unease. She told herself it was just stress from college and exams. She tried mindfulness apps, chamomile tea, anything to quiet the turbulence. Her academic performance remained steady. Her interactions with friends and colleagues were unchanged. Yet, during calls, her mother commented that Ilara sounded distant or more tired than usual. Ilara Vance continued her life, a perfect embodiment of the program's success, an unwitting weapon, a ghost in her own existence. Her conscious self remained entirely oblivious to the nocturnal missions, the bioengineered enhancements, the deadly skills she wielded in the shadows. The sophisticated architecture of the mind control system ensured a complete schism between her two realities. The assassin and the student coexisted within the same body, yet never met, never knew of the other's presence. She was a carefully crafted instrument of the state. The DNA she had so willingly provided, hoping to understand her past, was now being actively used to dictate a secret, violent present she could never comprehend. As evening descended on the city of 2035, Ilara went all through her usual routines. She finished her dinner, tidied her small kitchen, and prepared for bed. She checked her messages, set her alarm for her morning class, and gave Cosmo a final scratch behind the ears. The day had been ordinary, unremarkable.